on our YouTube channel at the earliest possible by the end of this session. The details of our YouTube channel will be shared on the chat window during the webinar. You may look out the details and subscribe our YouTube channel for regular updates. Dear participants, please ensure that whatever device you are connected with for today's webinar, you can access the chat window. Chat window is an important mechanism through which we will be communicating during the webinar. Any questions you will be having, you can write us on the chat window. I shall be facilitating the same by asking those questions, but at the end of this session. Dear participants, we will also be sharing a feedback form link on the chat window during or by the end of the webinar for the automated generation of the certificate of participation for today's session. So please stay connected with us till the last of this session and own yourself a certificate of participation despite increasing your knowledge.
Daman, am I audible? Okay, so just want to let you know, Daman, and I think I'll need your help. I am into a place where there is very, very bad connectivity. It's going really up and down. I'll be switching on my video for some time just to kind of get the face recorded out there, and then would request you to take up the slides. Uh, I'll share those details over the audio call. If there is any disruption even in the audio, I would request you to kind of quickly cover that up for me, at least from the reading the slides. And I'm really sorry for this, first of all. I didn't plan for this. It was a very, kind of a last minute call or the meeting which I had to come in here.
Understood. Understood.
Thank you.
There was one response. Sayandeep saying, sorry, I'm 21. I thought you said 1 to 30. Can we have anyone who is between 30 and 50? So don't say I am this much. Yes, that's good answer, Dr. Shisha. So now we don't know how old you are, right? We didn't want to ask the age, just the age. 30 to 50 is one, Dr. Shisha. Anyone else? Our guest speaker also, so is between 30 to 50. Anyone from Jaipur? Anyone from Jaipur would type in yes for the, okay, this time yes, okay. Anyone who is currently with a temperature of 40 degrees plus? So type in the temperature actually, current temperature that you have in your city, if it's above 40. $41, not the age, the temperature here in Jalgaon currently. 43. And if you don't mind, then type in the place also, please. Dr. Shisha, where is 43? Dr. Dharmesh, 44. Please type in the place also. Where are you currently? Which place is hotter than Delhi today? Anyone who is shivering in less than 30 degrees. Just first type in the temperature, and good if you can type in the name of the place also. Shivering in under 30 degrees. 31, or if you missed it by yes, in AC, all right. And that's smart work, isn't it? I didn't specify whether in AC or without AC. Twenty Korg, I shout. That's why we have bad connectivity. Okay. So the next question that I'm going to ask, answer is already known, at least one. Anyone who is in hills today? Pune 28 degrees, okay. Anyone who is in the hills today? Then just type in the name of the place. We will understand that we are answering yes, I'm in the hills, but we would like to know the name of the place also. Vishakhapatnam, hilly areas.
Kurg
Sorry?
is actually a hilly area. That's the reason.
Yes.
Kurg is actually a hilly area, and I'm actually in the forest right now. Just got connectivity for this call from the vicinity.
Yeah. Yes. Currently 38. Which place is that? Mayor Khan. Dr. Satish from Dharamshala. So what is the temperature in Dharamshala? Thirty degrees. So is it freezing in 30 degrees or is it sizzling in 30 degrees? Ayushi, you can take over any moment you need to.
Okay, sir. Very pleasant evening, dear panelists and the participants connected with us. It is a pleasure to connect with you all. I welcome you all for today's session on the topic Zero Unemployment through Employability Enhancement of the Youth. Our expert for today's session is Mr. Anshav Jain sir and Mr. Daman Dev Sood sir. Both of our experts have joined us. We will be beginning soon, dear participants. This is for your information, dear participants, to please ensure that whatever device you are connected with for today's webinar, you are able to access the chat window. You may find the chat window option on the right-hand side of your screen. As chat window is an important mechanism through which we will be communicating during the webinar. Any questions you will be having, you can write us on the chat window. I shall be facilitating the same by asking those questions, but at the end of this session. Also, dear participants, all the important details will be shared on the chat window itself. We will be sharing a feedback form link on the chat window for automated generation of your certificate of participation. Once you tap onto the link, you'll find a feedback form, and you have to fill that feedback form to generate your certificate of participation for today's webinar. So please stay connected with us till the last of this session and own yourself a certificate of participation. I welcome you, Subramaniam sir. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to you.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening, sir. How are you? while the number is far bigger than what we have been achieving in these DBI CAM IEEE webinars, but a half century on any day is a good news. We're touching 60 currently. There's a request in the chat window. It would be great to have intro from presenters. We are holding that because that is done by the organizers. Wait for a few minutes. And also someone from BVI can please look in the chat. It seems some people are not able to chat with everyone. Chat with everyone is disabled for me, is the message.
Very pleasant evening to all the participants and the panelists connected with us. It is a pleasure to connect with you all. I welcome you all for today's session on the topic Zero Unemployment through Employability Enhancement of the Youth. Our expert for today's session is Mr. Anshav Jain sir and Mr. Daman Dev Sood sir. Both of our experts have joined us. We will be beginning in another few minutes, dear participants.
So once again, just to keep ourselves busy, please type in the name of the place where you are currently in the chat box, just to see number of places or just the names of the places where people have joined today's webinar. First, Pune, Delhi, more please. There are 64 people now. London, Pune is in London. More responses, please, and you can mark it to everyone. Gwalior. Vinay, what is the temperature in London in the meanwhile? Sugandha from Hyderabad. Silchar, Assam, 19 degrees. That's hard by London standards. Am I right? Any other places? Summers, yes.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I reached office, but I was there at fifth floor. Anyway, so let's start. Ayush, please.
Okay, sir. A very pleasant evening to all the distinguished panelists and the participants. Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management BVI CAM, in association with Computational Intelligence Society, chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Computer Society, chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Technology and Engineering Management Society, chapter of IEEE Delhi section, System, Man, and Cybernetics Society, chapter of IEEE Delhi section, Communication Society of IEEE Delhi section, Consultants Network Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, Live Member Affinity Group of IEEE Delhi section, Inter-Society Relations Standing Committee of IEEE Delhi section, Industry Relations and Special Interest Group on Humanitarian Technology, Standing Committees of IEEE Delhi section, with the associations Computer Society of India, Institute of Information Technology Professionals, IITP, ISTE Delhi section, and IETE Delhi Center as technical collaborator, welcomes you all to the webinar on the topic Zero Unemployment through Employability Enhancement of the Youth. It is a moment of pride and honor to announce that we, with united hands, mark special contribution for the monumental occasion Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, an initiative to celebrate 75 years of glorious independence by organizing the thought-provoking sessions for a better future. This webinar is an initiative for celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. What is the danger is that we stay stuck in a new normal where unemployment rates stay high. People who have jobs see their income go up, businesses making big profits, but they are learned to do more with less, so they don't hire. Well visioned by Barack Obama. Imagine a world where people who want to work can work. Imagine a world where businesses they don't manage their talent. Imagine a world where hiring is easy. Everyone has talent, said Maya Angelou. Industry academia interaction gap has continued for decades. The job seekers are struggling for opportunities while the employers are frustrated that they do not get employment ready inputs from the academia. The country suffers due to brain drain. This webinar aims to explore the consolidated list of challenges based on the global research and then their proposed solution, which is based on 3 E's approach, which is employability, entrepreneurship, and education. With all inclusive approach, the students, the parents, the government, the academia, and the mentors. This live in interaction will help you understand the all around perspective of the concept. I would first like to take this opportunity to welcome amongst us our distinguished panelists for the day. We are privileged to have amongst us our galaxy of experts. I would now like to request Professor M.N. Huda Sir, Director, Bharati Vidyapeeth Institute of Computer Applications and Management, BVI CAM, and Vice Chairperson Sir, IEEE Delhi Section, to address the participants with his inspiring words. Please, sir.
Good evening, one and all. It's my proud privilege to welcome at the outset my both the valued speakers today. My own friend, Mr. Daman, and with the help of the Daman, we have invited Mr. Anshav Jain to enlighten us that how the problems of employability can finally be resolved. I also take this opportunity to welcome all the participants from different parts of the country and abroad. I would say instead of students, there are many teachers. So I request to all the teachers to carry this input till your classrooms, percolate this till your classrooms, because ultimately the teachers have to take charge and see to it that this gets implemented at your respective institution level. Dear friends, this is 76th webinar of IEEE BVICAM series, which we started in May 2020 in the backdrop of COVID-19 first wave. And since then, with the help of the friends, Daman is one of them, and many other friends from IEEE, from my own circle in industry, academia, we are continuing it, we are sustaining it week after week. With few exceptions, every week, Saturday evening, 6 to 7:30, all of us are here. This is 76th of the series under the backdrop of again 75th Independence Day celebration of the country. That is what is claimed as Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. The topic today is a very, very challenging topic, I will say, and is a very close to my heart as well. The topic is zero unemployment through employability enhancement of the youth, and then of course in live conversation mode. When we are talking of zero employment or employability enhancement, it is something which is required in today's time. If you scan through the reports of surveys conducted in last 20 years, 2 decades, many surveys were conducted by agencies. UGC was one of the agency. AICT independently conducted a survey. That was one of the agency. Then AICT, NASSCOM independently conducted a survey. Then NASSCOM and AICT jointly conducted a survey, and they concluded that hardly around 20 to 25% students coming out of the institutions are employable. Thereafter, in 2015, a survey was conducted by Pearson Higher Learning, and they included the teaching learning system, the entire education system from pre-primary till tertiary level, from a school level, right from nursery till almost postdoctorate and doctorate level. And they, after considering everything, all various factors into account, that was considered as the most liberal survey. And they concluded that close to 50% people may be employable, but still 50% people are not employable. Mr. Anshav and Mr. Daman will be helping us to understand that why and because of which reason it is. But when as a student of computer science or as a teacher, I look back to it, I do understand that around 30 years ago when we graduated and came to the industry, the ecosystem and the paradigm in the industry was different. And when I see 3 decades later, the ecosystem and the paradigm is absolutely different. I joined as my very first job to CMC Limited, and there my immediate team leaders were being briefed by my managers in the organization, my regional managers, etc., that these are young students. They have been groomed well to the tune of being good student, but they are not aware of how to be productive in a team which is working on a live project. So give them sufficient time to learn, and then probably in a year time, they will understand how to become a contributive member of the team in a live development environment. That was a kind of the perception which even industry had 3 decades ago. And because of that, we used to get almost a complete year as a learning curve, as an induction environment in the industry when we joined the industry. Now in today's time, if you see, the industry want fully ready professionals and right from day one. That's the kind of change which has come up. That's a kind of entire paradigm shift which has come up. Industry do not want to train students, and there lies the concept that the skill upgradation in terms of the technology and skill upgradation in terms of the life skill. At both the end, we need to work. And that's how I keep on saying that expectations of the industry are increasing and the quality of the students are decreasing. So instead of the gap which was supposed to be minimized, instead of getting the gaps minimized, the gaps are increasing. When the gaps are increasing, where from the employability will come? And yes, it is true that at one end, industry expect quality people to be recruited and join them for the purpose of their projects. Whereas at the same time, the students want to get recruited, get placed, but neither students are getting right job, neither industry is getting the right candidate. And that problem will continue if we do not focus on that. And that's how I used to say that 3 decades ago, probably the culture of having readily available suits in the market was very less or negligible. We used to go to a shop, get clothes from there, then visit to a tailor, get it stitched, and then finally it was ready to be used maybe in a span of maybe week or 10 days time. But now the paradigm has shifted to the extent that if I wanted to use a suit in today evening in some on some occasion, I will go to a shop maybe 2 hours prior or maybe 1 hour prior, will purchase a suit from there and probably will change there itself and will straight away move to the occasion. And that's the kind of paradigm that completely ready item is available, fully furnished product is available. So why can't industry expect that fully furnished product to be made available from academia? And that's how we teachers, whosoever are attending this, have to take a special care that how, in which best possible manner, this change should be brought right into the educational environment. Students should be groomed in that environment, that they should become industry ready professionals and become contributive member of the team right from day one. So this is the background of this particular session which we are organizing. So a complete change in the ecosystem, complete change in the paradigm. So from teaching to learning environment, we have to shift. And this topic is so dear to me that I can keep on speaking, but I wanted to learn more from my today's valued speakers with this note: change is inevitable. How big as an institution we are, how mature our processes are going to have no value addition unless I mean to add value addition, unless I commit myself to add value addition, unless I adapt to the changes which is coming. And that's why I say that in today's time, that is the 21st century or digital age, even the definition of educated people have changed. If you see the British definition, it is said that if you can read, write, or speak, you are considered as educated. But today's definition of digital age, 21st century, for educated people or educated professional is if you can learn, unlearn, and relearn. The technologies after every 1 decade completely shifts its orientation. We have started from structured programming where we said that we have to define and declare everything in the beginning before the start of the program. And now we say, no, not needed. You are not supposed to define everything. You can define and declare the parameters as and when you need it. So completely changed ecosystem is coming. Under that backdrop of change, we all have to change. And that's how I say, इंसान घर बदलता है, लिबास बदलता है, रिश्ते बदलता है, दोस्त बदलता है। सब कुछ हम अपनी लाइफ में बदलते हैं, सिर्फ हम ये नहीं समझते कि इंडस्ट्री का एनवायरनमेंट बदलता जा रहा है। हम सारे टीचर्स और हम सारे स्टूडेंट मिलके उस एनवायरनमेंट को कैसे अडॉप्ट करेंगे। सो इंसान घर बदलता है, लिबास बदलता है, रिश्ते बदलता है, दोस्त बदलता है, फिर भी परेशान क्यों रहता है? क्योंकि हम खुद को नहीं बदलते। सो उम्र भर गालिब यही भूल करता रहा, धूल चेहरे पे थी और मैं आईना साफ करता रहा। तो हम इंडस्ट्री और कस्टमर्स को ब्लेम नहीं करेंगे, हम अपने टीचिंग लर्निंग सिस्टम को इम्प्रोवाइज करेंगे। इस कमिटमेंट के साथ हम यहाँ बैठे हैं कि क्या हम जीरो एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी इमेजिन कर सकते हैं अपने टीचिंग लर्निंग सिस्टम के ओरिएंटेशन को टीचिंग से लर्निंग की तरफ शिफ्ट करके, और ये रियलाइज करके कि हाउ एंड इन विच वे इंडस्ट्री रेडी प्रोफेशनल्स कैन बी प्रोड्यूस्ड। I rather go a step forward and say society ready professionals. Why only industry? Industry is part of our society. So society ready professionals हमें तैयार करने हैं। इसी बैकड्रॉप पे और इसी नोट के साथ आज के सारे गेस्ट का स्वागत है। Thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay vibrant. Take all precautions, behavior, and thank you so much.
खुदा साहब, सब कुछ बदलता है, सब कुछ बदलना भी है, पर आपका ये जो कोट है सब जगह फिट होता है, वो स्टैंडर्ड है, उसको बदलने की जरूरत नहीं है।
Change is evergreen ना, change is evergreen. So this quote is evergreen.
Changes.
अच्छा, ये तो मेरा बहुत फेवरेट टॉपिक है जिसपे हमारे दोस्त दमन ने आज का वेबिनार ऑर्गेनाइज किया।
बहुत बढ़िया।
Zero employability. So thank you so much. Over to you, Ayushi.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much. I would now like to welcome our expert speakers for the day, Mr. Anshav Jain sir and Mr. Daman Dev Sood sir with an e-bouquet. We are glad to have you, sir.
ये भी चेंज का पार्ट है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक ई बुक है।
हाँ, जाता भी है नहीं पहुंचता भी है, पर
जी।
नहीं कमाई रहता है।
जी।
Mr. Anshav Jain sir
Thank you so
is a
much.
business strategy, business development, business process, re-engineering and digital transformation expert, an engineer from one of the top 5 engineering institutes, Delhi College of Engineering from India, having a management degree in marketing and finance along with Lean Six Sigma, MBB and PMP certifications. Anshav sir has 18 plus years of experience in hundreds of global MNCs, giving hundreds of millions of dollars of hard savings, and became the youngest vice president, earning the highest amount of salary at the age of just 34 years, and transformed a loss-making business into a global patented and inclusive EduFin health tech platform, Bringleverse, which is soon going to become a unicorn. But it was not easy. He had lost his highest paying job and used literally all his savings and investments to uncover 4 areas, 7 pillars, and 105 factors essentially required to build a business that would become a revenue generating machine. He gives talks and seminars about the core principles of business growth and raising investments. He has designed a comprehensive program called Design Your Unicorn and helping entrepreneurs to transform their ideas into a $1 billion dream in just 3 to 5 years of time. Also, he is working towards Vision 2020 is to 2030 to transform 1 billion lives, 1 million businesses, and 100 unicorns by bringing excellence in 3 E's: education, employment, and entrepreneurship. We are honored to have you amongst us, sir. We feel honored to address our another intellect speaker for the evening, Mr. Daman Dev Sood, sir. Daman,
She was a
sir.
couple of sentences good for me. Focus is on Anshav today.
Daman, sir, FBCS, FBCI, CBCI, SMI, MAI, MA, ISOLA, an expert chairperson, Computer Society chapter, IEEE Delhi section, and IEEE Delhi ambassador, and international resilience trainer. He is an international resilience trainer and consultant. He holds over 7,500 hours of training teaching experience. He has served various companies in various industry sectors in over 20 countries as trainer, consultant, auditor. Sir is an international speaker of repute and author. He has won multiple national and global awards also. He has spent over 35 years in the industry and 16 years in resilience domain. The Mansur is a member of IEEE Delhi section XCOM, chair of the CS chapter, a senior member of IEEE and IEEE ambassador. He is a fellow of BCI, fellow of BCS, member of AIMA, and life member of CSI. I now welcome both of my expert speakers to this session and request them to please enlighten the House. Please, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Huda. While I'm supposed to be talking to Anshav is supposed to give us some tips, information, or knowledge. From Professor Huda itself, I have picked a few points already. So this is what I keep saying, Professor Huda, that no one is perfect in this world. Learning and sharing is forever, and I'm a lifelong learner myself. So quickly, what I picked up from here, which was not even talk for us discussion. If we hear you, listen you for an hour, I believe we will have a big bucket of knowledge. That example of suit that we used to take up to 10 days to get it stitched, and now we can get it like this. This is how the world paradigm shift has taken place. Then moving from teaching to learning, I like that very much. And sometimes we have to unlearn to learn. These are quickly some notes that I have made. Thank you very much once again. IEEE and BBI CAM. Our guest, Anshav, Ansha, we know you are in Coorg and connectivity is not good there, not very good there. So you may like to keep your video off. So welcome to this IEEE BVI camp platform. I have some questions in mind, actually on paper. Questions are very small. It's not even a sentence sometimes, mostly. In all, we have about 40 minutes. We can keep this in mind. The first one that comes to mind is the stage has been set. We are talking of a zero unemployment in the country. But before we go into that, to understand a little more about you, I understand you have a story. So please tell us your story. What is your story, Ansha?
So thank you, Daman, for arranging this session. And Professor Huda, I would really want to appreciate the kind of knowledge which us, the numbers you have brought up are really, really important. And the industry gap which you have spoken about, it's a big challenge in the industry. And during the next 40 minutes, I will definitely talk about why this industry gap is increasing and how what we could do as collectively, as collaborative approach between academia, industry, and even the trainers, how we could work together towards this mission zero unemployment. So Daman, if you could just put up my screen out there, thank you so much. I will switch off my video just to ensure that my voice comes clear. Now, and I think I just want to first of all start this whole thing by saying Jai Hind to everybody. And one thing why I'm talking about Jai Hind is because it's all about India at this point in time. While we're working towards bring a global vision 2020-2030 to transform 1 billion lives, 1 million businesses and 100 unicorns, we are going to be completely focused towards transforming India into a self-sustainable and financially independent economy, leading to zero unemployment. And with our recent book called Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao, where it comprises of various aspects, how we could transform our economy and make us as a super powerful economy. India was the number one country with respect to their GDP in first century. But what has happened in the last 2000 years? What has happened in 20 centuries out there? And that is what the initiative with Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao, that we would want to bring the India's glory back with this book. And this is something which we want to take it up for the next 3 to 5 years from here. Uh, Coming back to my story out here, and so it started, my journey also has a very interesting twist, and I've gone through more of all the starting crisis, midlife crisis, and restart crisis in my life. Daman, you could move to the second slide, please. And
I hope
the
people are
way it
able to see my
started
slides,
for me
right?
is that I actually wanted to become an astronaut, wasted 2 academic years preparing for medical, and eventually the Delhi College of Engineering, which is supposedly one of the top 5 engineering institutes in India today. I then got into a campus placement, but that campus placement was not into engineering, even though I was about joining companies like Reliance or some other manufacturing company or refineries, and got into corporate sales. Even though it was challenging, but I really loved my job. And then got selected into through All India Entrance examination into Reliance, which was my dream company all throughout the 4 years of my engineering. As soon as I landed into the world's largest grassroots refinery in India or across the globe, which is in Jamnagar, I realized I've done the biggest mistake of my life. It was a complete personality shift, which I had to do to myself if I continue in the manufacturing division. It took almost 2 years for me to shift back to marketing support and eventually join operational excellence role, where I grew 16 times in just 11 years of time. And that's where I became the youngest vice president at the age of 34 years. Life is not easy. It's all about ups and downs. And that's where at that time, I faced my restart crisis when I lost my high paying corporate job and was left with burdens of EMI, which eventually grew up to almost $500,000 over a period of 7 to 8 years. Where then I look back today on that journey, what I realized is that I actually tried 21 plus ideas in last 21 plus years and lost 7 businesses in last 7 plus years before transforming this loss-making business Bringle, which is now a $100 million global startup. We are based out of UK and India, and that's about me. So my name is Anshad Jain. I am an investor, mentor, a serial entrepreneur, and a corporate professional with 18 plus years of experience, and now running this company as a founder and managing director of Bringle Excellence UK and India. So that's about me, Daman. A little bit about my story and why, what are the things which we are working upon.
Thank you very much, Anshu. Quick check. I hope everyone is able to follow my slides, right? Someone say yes, no, please. So what Anshu is speaking and what you see on the screen is matching. Someone says yes, great. Yeah, response has come. So Anshu, while going through this, listening to you, this is not on the paper. This is not in the, or this was not in the mind. But while listening to you, question comes to mind. While you're telling your story, would you like to call your story to be a story of failures? Today, some people take pride in calling themselves to be failures, and then they get themselves established very well.
So very interesting question, Daman, and I would like to answer this with something like this. Even our heart, pace is not a straight line. Actually, it's up and down. So life is all about ups and downs in life. Life is all about strengths and weaknesses. Life is all about success and failures. The day your heart line becomes straight, you're actually dead. It's not about that what you find out as a failure. Everybody has failures in their life. Have we not failed in our life? Is there anybody in the world who can tell me that they've never failed in the life? The biggest problem in human's life is not the failure. The problem is when you don't stand up after that failure. When you don't make your failure, convert your failure into success, and then work towards supporting others on that. And that's where the journey of knowing yourself first is very important in life before you start helping out others. So my journey, whenever I share it with anybody, the purpose of it is to share it from that pride, because those failures made me learn, made me go through those times which were not easy, very, very tough. But it reached out to a certain stage where I'm really proud of today. And that's what it is more important, to share your failure stories rather than success stories. In fact, there is a lot of learning hidden in your failure to success stories rather than success to failure stories.
Okay. So you agree with what goes in the name of Edison? None of us, I believe, have a live conversation with him. So we are not sure whether he really sense or not. But this is how the story goes, that he would say, I've not failed so many times. When I was inventing the bulb, I didn't fail so many times. I learned so many times. So are you in agreement with that?
So, Daman, there was a lot of audio disconnection for me. You'll have to probably repeat your question, or maybe you could.
All right. So quickly, I was saying, when we are saying failing is not bad, we understand, you said that, we understand that. But do you agree with what goes in the name of Edison, that he didn't fail so many times, he learned so many times? Okay, it seems technology is trying to. Yes. Continue.
Daman, is it okay if you could, while you are saying, if you could just type in into the chat window, I can read the question and quickly answer that. That would be much easier. I know it's a double ask from your side, from my side. Really sorry for the same.
And excuse me for spelling mistakes. If any comparison of your story with Addison, that it's not failure, or failing is not bad as long as I learn out of this. Can you hear me? I'm sure. So the question perhaps is not liked by the technology. I'm happy to move to the next question and we come back to this.
Daman,
Yes.
am I audible to you?
Yes, we can hear you.
Daman, am I audible to you?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear you. And so can you hear me? Yeah, 10, 10. So our experts here, either from the organizing team or from the audience. Is there some other way that he speaks? Just on phone call, perhaps?
Yeah. He can speak on phone. Just ask him to connect from his mobile using the same link. Mr. Anshav, if you can hear us, just connect through the same mobile using the same link, using your mobile, and just speak without video. Slides and questions questions will be coordinated, and slides can also be coordinated by Mr. Daman or from our end.
I have got the slide, so I can do that. Yes.
Yeah. So you can share the slide. Questions will be asking. Okay. He need not to come to laptop. He can just join from the mobile. Just ringing up.
I think he's not able to get connected because even the phone call is not going through. Seems very bad connectivity at his end in Coorg today.
He's in Delhi. He's in Delhi or somewhere else.
He's in Coorg. He's on hills in Coorg.
No problem. You just contact him. Once he's available, please alert us, right? And dear participants, the today's topic, which Mr. Daman himself is actively engaged in this activity to ensure that how this gap, which between academia and industry is increasing, and at the backdrop of the situation that students studying at academia wants job, and organizations working for projects of their clients want good people. Even as on date, there are enough opportunities for recruitment for placement in the companies. At the same time, sufficient number of students are available in academia. I think Mr. Anshav has joined back. Mr. Anshav, have you joined back from the mobile? Oh, once he's ready, please alert me. So the problem is the students are not getting the right job and the organizations are not getting the right match. So the genesis of today's was that how to encourage, how to facilitate that this right match should happen. And as a student of computer science, as a teacher since last 26 years and having worked close to 4 years in industry, that was CMC, now it is under Tata's empire, Tata Consultancy has
I'm really
taken over
sorry.
the
Am I
CMC.
back? Am I audible to
We
everybody?
personally realize that unless we work on the life skills of every student, the transformation will not come. Unless we ensure that the teaching paradigm is changed to learning ecosystem, the problem will not be resolved. What's happening that at this moment, if I ask my student to write a program for evaluating a factorial up to 5, he is very comfortable in writing that program. But the moment I ask him that, look, this is a 5-line step problem of a customer, या आधे पेज की ये मेरे कस्टमर की प्रॉब्लम है, now you think, how can you give me a software solution for this problem? So first half an hour he will be blank. सर ने आधे पेज की इंग्लिश स्टेटमेंट दे दी है और कह रहे कंप्यूटर साइंस यूज करना है बेटा, सॉफ्टवेयर यूटिलिटी बनानी है इसके लिए. He is blank. He is not able to comprehend. He is not able to analyze. He is unable to understand that which part of my technology is going to use finally to give me a solution. So the problem is that what we are teaching in the classroom is compartmentalizing our education. ये data structure पढ़ा रहे बेटा, ये C पढ़ा रहे, ये C++ पढ़ा रहे, ये data structure C++ पढ़ा रहे, ये data structure में क्यों होता है, ये data structure में stack होता है. But we are nowhere connecting that in day-to-day life, when you will get some English statement, you will have to find out from there that how many programs of where data structure, where queue of data structure is going to be used, where a stack concept is to be used, where linked list is to be used, where operating system demand fetching will be used, where operating system anticipatory page placement strategies and replacement strategies will be used. So actually, which concept of my technology will be utilized to solve which kind of problem? And if we have a problem per se as an English statement coming from my customer, can I work on this problem, analyze the problem, decompose the problem into a smaller problems, finally understand that which concept of my computer science knowledge, or which not only the computer science, which concept of my domain knowledge will be useful to solve. And when we are in a position to solve all smaller problems, then how can we compose this problem finally? And after composing this problem, how can I present this solution to my customer? So the question is, instead of compartmentalizing my day-to-day education in a specific domain, and within that domain in a specific topics, can we ensure that that technology just for solving problems? So can we ensure the simple skill set of problem solving in whichever domain we are talking? This is one aspect which we need to understand, and probably this will be such an important aspect which will make individual just from a degree holder to a professional who is required to the industry, and that is what we claim as industry ready professional. This is one aspect of that particular gap which is between industry and academia we are talking. Yeah, Mr. Daman, do we have?
Thanks, Professor Roda, for carrying this through. It seems Anshav is back. Anshav?
Oh, yes, yes.
Great.
So he,
So,
Mr. Anshav, you can video off and speak on phone. We all are here to take care of this. Mr. Daman is already there. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for filling this up.
Anshav, next question comes to mind is this bringle. What is bringle? It seems to be a non-dictionary word. What
Very
is
interesting
bringle?
question, Dana. Very interesting question. I would want you to kind of just flip through the next slide.
Okay.
So when we started in 2015-16, we were kind of contemplating what to do. And what is the model around it? because of my own success and failures, and you mentioned about the kind of zeal, the kind of passion which comes in because of your failures and converting that into success. Bringle is actually a coin word, which is brain plus tingle. So if you have whenever you receive, get that tingling sensation, हम उसको हिंदी में बोलते हैं रोंगटे खड़े हो जाने वाली बात. So whenever you feel that in your mind, body, and soul, when you achieve your great ideas with your exemplary efforts, and when you transform your failures into success, and the feeling what you get is all about bringing. That's why we always greet people with something called happy bringing. And when we did adhere to them, we say keep bringing, keep growing. Somebody just mentioned about, learning is a continuous path. And it's not just about learning. And I always say this. It's there on our website as well, bringalacademy.com, where we say knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is. So it is not important how much education you get, how much knowledge you have. What is more important, how effectively you are able to implement that for the thing which you are working for. And that is why experiential learning, applied knowledge is what all about employability. So we'll talk about more on that, but that's the concept of Bringle, and that's why happy Bringle.
Thank you very much. So, Ashok, the topic is zero unemployment in the country we are talking about. Employability is a challenge in the country. Anyone and everyone can say that blindly. Question comes to mind is, has Bringle done some research? Do you have some numbers to support the claim? Because otherwise you will say, yeah, this is a problem. You know that. Employability is a problem. I say a challenge in the country. But do you have numbers to support the claim or the say?
So I do have some numbers on the other slide, on the next slide, Daman. While you're flipping through, I'll give you a little more numbers around that. In our country, 1.4 billion Indians today in India, more than 50% of people are less than 30 years of age, which is giving to you almost 750 or I would say 700 million people out there, which is close to 70 crores of people who are less than 30 age group, which are called as youth, youngsters, and children in our country. If I filter that number further and bring it down to 16 age group to 29 or 30 years, it will come down to close to 260 million people or 260 million youth in our country. I don't know how many of you are aware, but actually only 40 million get some sort of education in our country. And out of them, only 11 million get jobs. And when these people or the youth goes into the college, into the corporates or the businesses, 90% of them actually either leave their job and sit idle for nothing because they probably have not liked the job or it is not as per their own skill set, or they have been thrown by the company because they were not productive for them, or they have left the company and moved on to another companies, giving a big loss to the companies and as high as 200% of the CTC value to the corporates, to the businesses, because of which they're shying away to hire freshers from the universities today. They're ready to pay a little higher salaries to the candidates who have some experience into the industry, rather than investing their time, money, and expertise or energy to train them and making them employed. And that's the problem of employment and employability. There's another number recently I was going through. 19% of these 40 million students actually doesn't want to do jobs. They just want to sit idle. Comparative to 5% of those, the rest of those people who are like 220 million, who are not educated. properly. Now, I don't know what do we call it, but the term is education. Is education, or it's a question to all of us, is education spoiling us? Or is education making any difference to this? With respect to the corporate scenario, in the existing 3 billion workforce across the globe today, 90% of them or the C-suite executives are reskilling their workforce today. Especially with respect to the new technologies, the way it is coming in, the job roles which are emerging, and why the kind of education system which we have is 200 years old. It was actually based out in 19th century, designed and customized for the industrialized world, where we wanted person to work absolutely in sync. We used to call that standard operating procedures. Now, there is nothing called standard operating procedures today. Most of the work which has been done, which has been trained or taught in our education system today is being done by robots. The time is not very far when you will not receive a human being at the end of the call, and when you call to a customer care, it will be taken up by artificial intelligence bot. Half of the jobs are already taken by them. And in the next 10 years, more than 50% of the job will completely change. And that is why we need to focus upon skilling our youth onto those 7 futuristic digital skill sets. And believe me, 50% of them are not even designed yet. That is leading to a lot of issues with respect to technology advancements, inexperienced mentors and coaches. They are also going through the same ecosystem. So these are the current challenges, Daman, I thought I'll just share with you.
Correct. Thanks. Can you take us through these numbers on in front of the slides also, please, Ansha? Because these seem to be making a lot of sense.
Daman, you can probably flip through the next slide if
Okay.
there is numbers out there.
Okay.
But I'll just tell you, the 5% are the people who are currently having employment in our country. The right side of employment and education system. 54% of the C-suite executives are completely redesigning their existing workforce at this point in time. And 90% of the businesses are having external money coming into India, which means that our own businesses are not actually owned by us. We have recently seen this story with Paytm. When the Paytm IPO was launched, that's the time it was realized that 40% of the Paytm was owned by Chinese investors. And they actually took an exit as soon as they got an opportunity when they got listed. It's a big problem to the country's resource. And because of that, a lot of these employees are going outside the country, or I would say these youth are going outside the country, leading us to brain drain onto that.
Great. Thanks, Ansha. So quickly, I pick up something. While the whole recording is worth watching, listening to again, but one sentence or even a phrase I'm saying, you said knowledge is not power. I do agree to that. My ability to use that knowledge is the real power. I was also just today reading an SBR article which says curse of knowledge. Now, looking at the title, I was about to skip it. How could knowledge be cursed? But having gone through that, and some other day we'll talk about that. But that's good and makes sense. That sometimes it may become a curse also, and we need to be aware of that so that we stay away from that point in life. The next question, Aisha, that comes to mind is, so we have understood the challenge with the help of some data, some numbers also, right? So what is Bringle doing about unemployability, or removing unemployability, or reducing unemployability, improving the employability index in the country? What is Bringle doing about this challenge?
So, Taman, I think if you could flip through the next slide. but I just maybe there will be a couple of slides over there. I'll talk about them. Okay, so there are three things which we have identified as a major problem in the country today towards solving the mission zero unemployment, and that's the mission which we took for us to work towards that. And while you can say that we are trying to align ourselves to transform India into a self-sustainable $5 trillion economy, but what is more important in this is that it's a two-way approach. It cannot be solved by one aspect of it. In fact, that's the 3E approach. I will talk about it. But let me talk about the first two ways by which we will be solving this problem. The first is encouraging and empowering our current youth, which I'm talking about 260 million plus youth in the country who are right away there to support our economy, because they are going to service for the next 30 years to our country, at least 30 to 40 years, and which is very, very critical. And they're just sitting at the verge of it. So we need to work with them, empower them, make them more employable and industry ready. Also develop entrepreneurial mindset so that they can generate more and more jobs for the country on that. The another aspect is 95% of our businesses are startups and MSMEs. Contributing to 50 to 60% of GDP, and actually speaking, only 0.1% of the businesses create jobs for our country. Rest all businesses could not survive because of various challenges, which I always mention about 4 areas, 7 pillars, and 105 factors which can make or break the business. So the another aspect we are working with the startups and MSMEs to make them become investable, sustainable and profitable so that they can generate more and more jobs for the country. And this whole process is what we are doing with the 3E approach, which is in the next slide on that. The first is we are going to focus upon, we are focused from 2020 to 2022, and it is ongoing now, is about supporting these startups and the businesses to make them investable, sustainable, and profitable so that they can generate more and more jobs. We have set up, opportunities. We have done tie-ups with syndicate funds, angel firms, angel investors, venture capitalists of the country, and we are reaching out to many more to bring it into the ecosystem, create a fund which we could support various startups and MSMEs, work with them, consult them, support them on growth path on that. Now from 2020 onwards, we are now focusing on the next segment, which is our youth. As I mentioned, 260 million plus youth. So we are conducting currently free webinars and doing a skill test in various universities. We have completed almost 6 plus universities by now, and have signed up 3 plus almost MOUs, and 3 or 4 are being in the process right now, where we are going to reach out to the first million of students in the next 3 to 6 months, and setting up skill development centers in those colleges, working with those students right from the first year, the time they enter into the college, and make them industry ready. So that in the next 3 to 5 years, we have enough people, enough employable youth in our country who are ready to take these businesses or support these businesses and startups and MSMEs as well, to take them to the next path of growth. And that's why we are working on doing programs with them. The third aspect, because it's the journey of the next 100 years, it's the process by which we are trying to set it up. Our children. Children are the future of our country. So we are working with schools, parents, identifying the core competence of the children and making a career plan for them so that they can follow that in the next 8 to 10 years. And actually, when they come out and reach to their youth age, when they come to the colleges, they're pretty clear what they want to do, and they complete their education and they are more employable candidates. And if we could bring in more entrepreneurs from that, nothing like it. So they will be trained on more those 7 futuristic digital skill sets.
Thank you very much, Ansha. Professor Huda, it's going to be 7. Can I take 10 minutes extra?
Oh, yes, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. And Ansha, my request will be to be taking about a couple of minutes on each so that at least we are able to give full glimpse to the audience that have joined us today. Understood the challenge with some numbers data also, understood Bringling, what is Bringling, understood this 3 E's approach, what Bringle is doing or how Bringle is attempting to tackle the challenge. The next question comes to mind is then, how much have you been able to achieve? What have you been able to achieve so far? And again, if you can share numbers, that'll be great.
Uh, so, Daman, while I think you might find a slide over there, maybe the next slide, in terms of the actual numbers, what we have been able to reach. But just to kind of talk about it, we have got almost a million touch points by now, million plus learners who have been, we have been able to reach out to them. We are now attempting to reach out to universities and colleges, even schools, and doing these webinars and skills tests for them, which we will be working for them. And this is what the number which you're seeing it on the screen is only our last quarter, which is from April to actually June 2022. It is half in progress. It's a work in progress. But these are the 3 ways by which we are working out in the entire plan. The first is we have launched our book, Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao. This book is not about making money. The whole objective of this book is to reach out to each and every Indian across the globe and work towards this transformation, transforming India into a self-sustainable economy. We did a kind of a pre-booking run, and we could close 111 plus pre-bookings in just 21 plus days. And we are now working to, we have reached out to various political leaders, business leaders, including our Prime Minister, Home Minister, various Chief Ministers, and other organizations like Rotary, Lions Club, and other UNICEF kind of organizations to come forward and support this initiative. From our side, we are not making any money out of this. 100% of these profits are going to towards charity, which will be going to NPO called Vardhan, wherein that will be with them. We will be working to use these funds to support those 70% of our population, which is around 220 million plus youth and 300 million plus children in our country, to build an alternate university so that we can support them as well. We are looking at creating a kind of a lucky bag out here, which is selling 1 lakh books in the next 3 to 6 months, so that we could support and build this virtual university or alternate university for them. And it got really, really inspired by people like Sonam Wangchuk, who is the Funso Wangdu character in Three Idiots movie, whom I recently met in one of the launches, one of the event. Second is about our Mission Zero Unemployment, which is going to be an inclusive event. So we are not going to leave those 15% of persons with disabilities, and 80% of them are uneducated today. So this whole initiative is to create an accessible and inclusive environment. With respect to the 6 university webinars we have already completed, 3 plus MOUs we have signed, and 3 plus are in progress right now. We have reached out to many corporates wherein we will be bringing their jobs onto our platform. And all these corporates, we will be working with these universities to verify their profiles and people, and they will be kind of Bringle certified employable candidates. And once they are Bringle certified employable candidates, they can source these candidates from our portal directly into their companies. And it will be a virtual portal. So anywhere from any place all across the globe, they can get these people on that. And even the students can do the free webinars as well as take their certificate and become more and more employable for themselves. So that's the overall mission Zero Unemployment which we are working. And the third is about the Virtual Skills Development Center, which we are setting it up as a virtual metaverse university. It is the world's first and largest cross-border inclusive and patented virtual skill development center and a skills bank, wherein the first level platform will be ready in another 10 days time, and the level 2 platform discussions including blockchain, artificial intelligence, virtual reality, and all these different technologies going to be there. We are setting up a project team, and we all be kind of onboarding people from these universities as well, whoever passed through those employability tests, and get them opportunity to get work with us as well. And finally, we are always working on setting up, getting investors onboarded, because we'll be raising around $100 million in the next 18 to 24 months to set this entire virtual university on that. It's a complete Make in India product, and we'll be taking it across the globe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ansha. Once again, it seems that each one of these we could have spent an hour or so on, but today we have kept only about 40-45 minutes. We are running behind the schedule. I've got only 5 minutes left, Ansha. So request is about 1.5 minutes on each. All 3 questions are very important. From this one, I'm again saying a lot to pick up, but my pickup was that Pringle has an all-inclusive approach. I like that. Next question comes to mind is, it has to be a big plan. Right? This is a big and long journey. So can you or would like to share that big plan with us? What challenges do you foresee in this journey, and how you plan to overcome those challenges? And I'm giving you only 1.5 minutes, so that's the challenge with you.
Sure. So, Daman, you're absolutely right, and I would want you to kind of go through the slide in terms of what help I would require from everybody on that. So it's not a journey of one person. Maybe you can move ahead on that. Project plan is something which is more of, we could spend time later. In terms of how we are moving it from Mission Zero Unemployment to a Bringleverse or a Bringle Metaverse. But we would require people. We would require all of your support. So the purpose of me right now reaching out in various forums is to bring out more and more people into this mission, zero unemployment. Or even 5 or 50 or 500 cannot do this. It's a kind of a mission which has to be done for the financial freedom of our country. Believe me, the kind of work, the kind of our neighbors are going the situation today. Most of it is being done by China. They have already taken over Pakistan almost. The Sri Lanka is into bad economy. Nepal is having a lot of Chinese funds, and there is a lot of things are happening in around the country today. If we don't work on skills development, upskilling our youth, as I said, 50% of the population, and if we don't make them employable in the next 3 to 5 years or 8 to 10 years, as far as the children are concerned, we are going to be into a major skills crisis. One very good thing which China did for themselves is that they made their entire population as employed. And that's what the strength that they bring in. So, Daman, I would want you to kind of quickly go through the last slide in terms of the contributor slide. Because that's where I want to share with everybody in terms of your support. You can call it as an appeal to everybody. Depending on your time availability, depending on your money availability, and we would want to invite all the transformers to invest their time, money, and expertise to work on this massive plan.
Yes, Sanjay. So you know what happens is, whenever any concept, any new concept, any big concept, yes, I have understood. Sanjay, you said something. I have understood. I understand the challenge also, but still the big question, the big why. What's in it for me? Why should I do it? So I believe that's what you're attempting to say when you're saying the support that you're looking forward, right? Or the next one?
Yeah. So, see, it's about each individual, Daman, and I think it's a very right question you've asked. Maybe you can flip to the next slide on that.
Okay.
What's in it for you? What's in it for you? You can move further. Now, the point here is each and every individual, every journey, there is a famous saying, the charity begins at home. And unless we ourselves are very clear what do we want, so you can go back to another slide, maybe your first slide. One slide before, Taman. Yeah, this one. So it is very important for each and everybody. That was the slide, three mobile phones picture, Taman. Uh, so it is very important for each of you to know about yourself, know about your strengths, weaknesses, what you can do, where you can contribute. And that is where I think it is important for all of you, each of us, to know about ourselves first, our strength, our expertise, our benefits. If you are a parent, you would want it to be done for yourself, maybe for your better career. You want to do it for your children. You want to do it for your siblings. You want to do it for your friends or relatives or somebody known. But help them finding about themselves, find their own strengths and weaknesses. And that's where the all automated system is what we are trying to build upon. And that is what the important aspect into that. If you are there looking for an employment, we will be there to support you to get you a, skilled, completely skilled, or I would call it a holistically skilled, to be ready for the job which you really deserve or desire for. And if you are an entrepreneur, we will be there to support you to grow your business right from an idea to a unicorn, $1 billion business model. So that's what the kind of support or the benefit you will be getting in once you're part of the Bringle ecosystem.
Okay. Looking at the last one, looking at the time also, and so it seems we could discuss a lot, and perhaps we request you to come back again with more ideas, more numbers, more progress that has been made, or if new challenges come to you and you would like to appeal to the nation once again. Your closing remarks, Anshav, what can we, the audience in this session, including me, I'm saying, what can we, the audience sitting in this session this evening, do to support this national cause? It appears to be a national cause to me. So what can we do? That's the question. Closing remarks.
Very nice question, Raman, and I would want you to kind of flip through the next slide.
Okay.
So
Sorry
each
about
of
that.
us, each of the
I'm
Indians
sorry
can do something or the other for the country at this point in time. It's a national initiative, which we are running it through the book. The purpose of the book is also to, reach out to as many as Indians as possible and tell them what we are working towards this initiative.
I hope
So
I
the
got the right
first thing what
slide.
you can, no, Daman, that's the one slide before this. Yes, this slide is right. What can you do? Yes, you're absolutely on the right side. So now,
Okay.
if you don't, if you have limited time, you're already busy and can't contribute, I would just request you to buy one book at least of Sone Ki Chidiya Ko Jagao. You can go at bringleglobal.com and get the link over there. The actual price is 1,200 rupees, but we are pre-booking it at 300 rupees. As I said, 100% of these profits are going toward building an alternate university for underprivileged 220 million plus youth and 300 million plus children out there through our NPO Vardhan. So if you can't contribute too much on that, at least contribute 300 rupees towards it. This is not a charity. This is a mission building. This is a nation building exercise. This is an arms and our children and youth are our, arms and ammunition for our country to support our country. We need to make them employable. We need to make them industry ready, make them future ready on that. Second, if you have some more time and you would want to be part of us, I would request you to do three things. One, if you know anybody around yourself, around your vicinity, and you feel that they need some help, please reach out to them. And I just need you to talk to probably three people within your network or see who needs this help. Just tell them to go and check Know Yourself initiative at bringleacademy.com. So I would want you to kind of talk to them, share with them about the book as well as the Know Yourself initiative so that they can get to know and do something better for themselves. The second, if you could connect us to schools and colleges for these setting up skill development centers, for running these webinars and and workshops and various programs to make them employable and industry ready, that would be really good help. Third, if you could connect us to employers who have jobs available with them, but they're struggling to get the verified candidates, skilled candidates, we will work with them and get them the skilled candidates for them so that they can make their businesses much more sustainable and run their enterprise. Third, if you can work as a full-time with us, you are able to spend more time with us. You might be an entrepreneur, you might be an investor, or you might be a mentor. We would want you to come and invest your time. If you're an entrepreneur, we will work with you to make your investable, sustainable, and profitable businesses, and which will help us to generate more and more employment for the country. We would invite investors to invest in these startups and MSMEs so that we could, and we will make sure that you will get 3x, 5x, 20x, 100x returns in the next 3 to 5 years or 8 to 10 years, depending on your risk appetite and the risk, the investment horizon. If you are a trainer, mentor, coach, consultant, or a teacher, we would want you to onboard at our Top 100 Mentors Club community at bringleacademy.com and come back, share your pearls of wisdom in the form of Bringle Talks or expertise with us, by which we'll be sharing your programs and content to all these 50% of the population in our country and maybe more. In fact, there are a lot of corporate professionals who will require reskilling programs. So if you can deliver any kind of training, self-paced, one-on-one coaching or group coaching, please reach out to us. You can go at breakleacademy.com and check Top 100 Mentors Club section. So these are the three ways what I would want to give an appeal to the entire.
Great. Thank you very much, Anshav. And I request all participants. He deserves a big clap for sure. Running out of time. Wanted to ask a lot more, wanted to give him more time, but technology also played bad today. It is part of life, but at least after that one glitch, it has continued non-stop, uninterrupted. Thank you very much. With this, I'll hand it over back to the organizers. If there are any questions or if they want questions to be sent to us, I'll get those responses back to Anshav and then we can share with all the participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you to both the experts for the enlightening deliberation. I am sure that this insightful session would have enlightened the participants about the very big issue and the very big concern. So the one and only question that I hope this interactive session was very much answerable to all the questions and concerns, but we have one major question I would like to take on from your permission. May I, sir?
My permission?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I
So
believe it's permission from Professor Oda.
question I received.
Yeah.
Yes, the question I received is, will technological development, robotization, IT, or artificial intelligence and the machine learning increase unemployment in the future?
Good one. But I'm sure Anshav is much better than me. Anshav, if you would like to go, please.
A very interesting question and very big question. Whoever has asked this has really, been thinking of this webinar and been going through this webinar a lot, seriously, and I'm really thankful to that. So let me just answer this in a different way. So while yes, and the answer to your question is both yes and no. And let me answer the yes part of it. Okay. So the yes part of it is yes, it will take a lot of jobs. It will literally take a lot of jobs. It is already taking out a lot of jobs. As I mentioned earlier, artificial intelligence has actually taken up more than 30% jobs already. The time is not very far. If you remember, you used to get a personal call for your cold calling from marketing calls. Now you don't get marketing calls from these people. You get automated voice calls. You get automated surveys. You get auto messages on WhatsApp. You get auto SMSs, linked emails, automation on emails, social media automation. It's everywhere the automation is there, which was done by physical with individual people earlier, with lot of efficiency and effectiveness issues. Now all those effectiveness and efficiency has increased, giving a more unemployment in the country. But the good news is that whatever work this robots or robotization is taking is only that part which was monotonous, which we also didn't like doing it. Did we like literally writing hundreds of emails every day by, onto that? We never liked that. But there would be more than 50% of the new jobs which will be coming in, which robots would not be able to do. So if robots are taking 50% of the jobs, they will also be bringing another 50% of the jobs. But the bad or good news is it will increase the employability gap. Now the students or the youth has to be more employable or industry ready based on the new job roles which are going to come in the future. As I said, 50% of them does not even exist yet. So the answer to your question is yes and no. They will take out the existing jobs, but they will bring new jobs into the market. And for that, we have to make our youth and children ready. We cannot wait that.
आंख में कम लोड पड़ता है ना जी, क्या है मतलब?
I'll add just one phrase to this, what Aisha has said, that reskilling and upskilling is the need of the hour, according to me.
Absolutely, Daman. Absolutely. And if we don't do it, Daman, in the next 3 to 5 years, believe me, we are going to face a major skills crisis in our country. And our businesses are will be forced to either sell their businesses, stop their businesses, or going out of the country.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. I hope and wish that this concern nearly ends. It was really nice having you and taking your insights. Now, I would now like to request Professor M.N. Huda, sir, to kindly present a e-certificate to Mr. Anshav Jain and Daman Dev Sood, sir, as a token of remembrance. Please, sir.
So thank you so much to my both the valued speakers and facilitator today. Yes, Mr. Daman, all of us.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, all of us agree that re-skilling, upskilling is required. And that is why I personally believe that learn, unlearn, and relearn. And yes, you rightly said that unlearn to learn. And that's how I keep on saying there is a learning to learn and there is a learning to unlearn. So both the learning should happen. And it is always better first you unlearn and then learn. And that is what the IT industry particularly has taught us. So let's go with that background. Let's go with that objective. And thank you so much for this wonderful session. In fact, this is such a topic which is ever evolving and will keep on having deliberations, and finding absolute perfection is a little difficult task, but certainly we must try to achieve the best possible kind of achievement in terms of minimizing the gap. And thank you so much once again for giving this talk. And these certificates are not for the purpose of certification, but for the purpose of your remembrance that you have been part of this wonderful webinar, which was meant to ensure that how to ensure zero unemployability, 100% employability by enhancing the employability. So thank you so much. And we also have changed certificates and changed the memento. This is all changes which is happening. So thank you so much.
So now I would like to present e-memento to Mr. Anshav Jain, sir, and Daman, sir, as a token of gratitude from BVI Camp family. Please accept the same, sir.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
It's our pleasure and privilege. And dear participants, the speakers today have been kind enough to share us 2 books. One is CIO Coffee Table book on turning adversity into a strength, and the second book, सोने की चिड़िया को जगाओ. तो जो देश हमारा सोने की चिड़िया कहलाता था, हम सोने की चिड़िया को जगा रहे. जगाने की शुरुआत आज की है, आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव पे की है, 76th वेबिनार में की है, और ये दोनों बुक भारतीय विद्यापीठ के वेबिनार पेज से, जिसका लिंक आपको शेयर किया गया है, अवेलेबल है टेबल नंबर 76 पे। आप अगर जाएं, दोनों बुक का डाउनलोड लिंक अवेलेबल है। Books will be available for download till 9 p.m. Please download in time, because after that we will be removing the link just to ensure that it should not get misused. And thank you so much. There are many webinars which have already been announced. If you have not registered so far, please register for those webinars. All the best. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay vibrant, keep learning despite all disruptions in and around you, and ensure that COVID remains far away from you. So follow all protocols. All the best to you. Over to you, Ayushi.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to thank all the distinguished panelists and participants who have always been continuously supporting us, joining us through our webinars. A big thank you for joining us. Thank you. Thank you, Daman sir. Thank you, Anshab sir.
Thank you very much. We take your leave then.
You are at your own liberty now.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll meet again. Bye. Dear participants, the link of everything has been shared in the chat window. Please follow them, get your certificate. My team members, Ayushi, Uttam, they are here to help you to facilitate that you should get the certificate. This